Steve, good afternoon. How are you?
All right, Chuck. Things are doing well. Happy to be here. Love it. Love
Awesome.
it.
Yeah, welcome to Friday at 4.
Oh, that's great. It's 4 o'clock somewhere. So let's go. I'm all for this. Let's do it.
Let's get this going. So, what do you got today?
So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I worked for many, many years in corporate, and good or bad, take it for what you will. But what's really disturbing me of late is the economy. Frankly, the economy sucks. It's not as good as the government says. We all know this. But more than the economy, what bothers me is major corporations are showing massive, massive profits, but they're showing those profits at the expense of the people that work for them. And they're doing that in two ways. One is they're laying people off, and two is they're raising their prices. But
Inflation's huge right now, right?
and that's one of the reasons. It's called price gouging.
Yeah,
And the reason, in my mind, that corporations are doing this, they have to satisfy the shareholder. So if I was working for a company and I was bounced, number one, I'm not buying that company's product anymore. But more than that, when I no longer have an income, I'm in trouble on a whole bunch of levels.
yeah,
So it just bothers me about why people are really getting the short end of the stick and they have nothing to say about it. And it really bothers me.
yeah,
So that's my thing. And I'm trying to do whatever I can to try to help people, to try to educate, give them options, do all kinds of stuff. Because as a general statement, we're going in the wrong direction. And it's not right. It's not fair. So, that's my thing. Um,
that seems like a common thing lately. I'm hearing a lot of people who are on the same page with that. The economy sucks. They don't feel like spending money. I don't want to spend money. I want to sit on everything that I can. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't live.
at some point, and I know it happened to me a bunch of years ago because I also got laid off. And when you don't have the money coming in, you start relying on credit cards. And at a high level, okay, I'm living on credit cards. But then you got to think about the credit cards, and now the interest rates are going up and up and up. So if you're maxing out your credit cards to live and you can't pay the minimum payment because of the interest rates, now you got no money, no credit cards. How do you eat? How
Yeah,
do you pay the rent?
yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm old school and I'm not as fast as I used to be. Take that for what you will. No comments, please. But but how do people these days? And I have no clue. How do people these days pay the bills? How do they get food? How do they live? How do you do that? I don't know. And
Yeah,
that's part of the frustration.
yeah. What kind of tips do you have for us?
So, based on a lot of stuff that I've been hearing and seeing over the last couple of years, there's two main ways that people can work, assuming they can find a job, assuming they can find a source of income. One way is to try to go back to a corporation of whatever. And I worked in corporate for 32 years. Um, I will tell you, I was not the happiest, but it was a job. It was a paycheck until they decided it was time for me to go. I didn't think that way, but they did. The other option is to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
That's what I've been doing the last bunch of years. And I can tell you, you work a little harder, but you make the decisions, you set your income, You set the hours you want to work. And you know what? I'm a lot happier now than I was for years.
And you know, my neighbor just said that very thing to me this afternoon. She said, I'm going to have to find another job just so I can start making ends meet. Just, it's crazy how I'm hearing that lately that people are needing other jobs just to survive
There are, and I'm not a big fan of statistics because you can play games with numbers all over the place.
all the
But
time.
I've seen in a couple of different places similar numbers where over 8 million people in this country have a second job just to pay the bills. And it's not a job, it could be a second income. It doesn't be a job, wherever it comes from. It's a second source of income. And
Yeah,
that's a scary thought.
it is. Yeah,
So, what I'm going to suggest for our next session is let's talk about what an entrepreneur is, what it takes to become one, what's a potentially good business versus not a good business. And there's a whole bunch of things we can talk about. So
yeah,
let's transition into that. I want to invite everybody to come back to our next Friday at 4 because it's a great time to talk. And let's go from there.
absolutely. And my suggestion is, man, comment below. Tell us what your thoughts are. Tell us what you want to hear, what you think, about what we just talked about. What do you think about entrepreneurship or going back into the corporate world?
Yeah. I'm always open to learn. Always.
Absolutely.
So we welcome your comments. Tell us what you think, and we'll address as many as we can in the time allotted. Love it.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thanks again, Steve. Appreciate you coming on and love to pick your brain on your knowledge.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chuck. Have a great rest of today.
You too. Take care.
Thanks. You too.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Love it.
Take care.
You too. Bye.